Hey there, I'm Colin Weston with the Mod Golf Podcast, where we speak with the entrepreneurs, innovators, disruptors, and influencers who are shaping the future of golf. And we are live at the PGA Show, where I have the pleasure of sitting next to Patrick Farris, who is the founder of Euforeia Golf. And I love this brand. I don't say that about a lot of brands. I do love this brand. Myself, growing up as a bit of a skate punk and you know extreme sports guy, and loving that, and a bit of a kind of a punk vibe. Growing up also that love what you're going on. It's authentic, and I want to hear this story. So first we'll start. Patrick, welcome to the Mod Golf Podcast. Good to see you, man.
Thanks, man.
Hey,
It's been a long time.
Long time. It has been. You and I have been back and forth, and here we are in real life. If you can see us, we're shooting our YouTube video at the same time here. You can see there's no photoshopping, there's no special effects. You can see, I can, if I could dare, I've actually put my hand. See, that's real. I didn't actually special effects that. He's actually here. So hey, Patrick, I always like to start with this question. It's a bit of an icebreaker here. So we'll get into your what you're doing as an entrepreneur and a founder and all the good things with Euforeia. But I always like to start with golf. So talk to us about your first golf experience ever, like whatever age that was, when you first picked up a club, who introduced you to the game, and maybe share one golf moment, whether it was something that was crazy and a big fail or something that was epic and amazing. So maybe you can share those things with us.
All right. I think I was in like fourth grade.
Fourth grade. All right.
I did like a summer golf camp, which was like 3 days or something like that.
All right. Did you want to, or is that begrudge you that your parents kind of pushed you out the door
my
for
dad
that?
pushed me into it. And I was like, golf? Are you kidding me? And he's like, just go play, you'll have fun. I'm like, all right. And I had fun, but didn't like any other people I was playing with or hanging out with at camp. And like, I felt like I was totally out of place, and like just kind of left it at that.
Yeah.
And so over the years, I'd play with my dad, like, once or twice a year on Father's Day or on his birthday or, whatever. And, always had fun, but it was just kind of like, I'll go do it with you, but that's as far as I want to go with it.
Here we go.
And eventually I found it.
So we'll get into that. So I want to hear. So yeah, maybe share, have you ever got a hole in one? What do you consider the best shot you've ever hit? Or maybe something you experienced that really kind of lit you up there that you saw, or maybe something a friend did that was hilariously bad.
All right, so I've never had a hole in one. I came close like the first year I played like 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Where it's like, it went right over the hole or grace, and I was like, this is easy. And
easy game.
Yeah. But I think like one turning point was like I went on a golf trip with my dad. Him and my uncle used to put on a trip like every year for like the last 20 years.
Okay.
To Myrtle Beach with a bunch of dudes, and so I just started playing golf, and he's like, come out for the trip. He's like, always wanting to come out. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm going into it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go hang out with a bunch of old dudes. And like, it'd be nice to relax. I'll just drink beer on the beach, smoke cigars. It'll be like nice and low key. And I get there, and it's a completely different atmosphere. Like, they're all going completely wild.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right. I'm like, cool. And so we go play golf the next day. And on like the first tee, my buddy just like drops his pants, and he's wearing this like underwear with like a big rubber duck on it.
Nice.
And I'm just like, what is going on? And we're at like, Grand Cypress or some course in Myrtle Beach, which is like super nice and like
traditional course.
Yeah,
right?
like nicest course I've ever seen in my life at this point. And he's just like totally like wild. And I'm like, all right, this is a totally different side, because I did not expect, people who've been playing golf forever, who are that old, like just being that wild. And it just kind of, I think that was like the final push of like, all right, golf can be cool.
There we go.
And then I was hooked.
That was an inspirational moment. So you played a little bit growing up there, but it sounds like you were still kind of on the sidelines a little bit, even though you were getting hooked to the game. So talk to me about with Euforeia. What was the aha moment, or even before that? What was your background before that? Were you in apparel, or you're in design, or what was your background that led up to the formation of and the launch of Euforeia?
Yeah, so I spent my whole life in action sports, mainly racing motocross.
Okay.
And I did that for a career for a while. And then when I quit, I got into design and designing apparel, which I had kind of been doing my whole life anyways.
Yeah.
And then just kind of made the push to do it full time. And so around the time I found golf, I was designing motocross apparel, and gloves, jerseys, pants, helmets, that type of stuff. And so when I started playing golf, I was like, golf gloves are kind of terrible.
Yeah.
And so I kept buying more and more golf gloves, more expensive ones. Like, all right, well, $45 tour glove, like that has to be good at least.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the same thing, it would like rip after like 5 rounds, and like when it fit that great, I'm like, all right, is there seriously not a better option out here? And I discovered there wasn't. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, there's a whole product category that no one's touched in 50 years.
Yeah.
Like the gloves that people are playing now, it's the same design that they were, back when Arnold Palmer played. Like if you look at pictures, nothing has changed. Same leather, everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this is crazy that there's an industry this big with a market that no one's touched in this product category.
Interesting.
And I was like, all right, well, why can't I take some of this technology I'm using in motocross and kind of apply it to like a golf glove and see if I can like make a hybrid glove that, has modern performance characteristics and, has the same feel and fit as like a traditional glove.
See, that I find interesting. So was your motocross background, if you learned from that, part of your secret sauce that you brought over as far as the design thinking along that line. So speaking about gloves, is I think a good time to do this. So Patrick has been good enough. Of course, you got to watch the YouTube video. If you're just listening on the podcast, you can't see this because you're using your ears right now. But he brought a glove for me. So I'm going to put this on right now. So this is going on extra large on my right hand. Oh, there you can actually hear the Velcro there on the microphone. So let's try this out. So I'm gonna put it on, and then I'm gonna hand model it here in front of the camera. So Patrick, tell me about this glove. I can tell already the feel and the look of it is different, but I'm gonna let you tell our audience about the glove and the design and the aesthetic and all the good things here.
Yeah, so the top hand is a special material we developed that's a cooling material, and it's made to have like limited stretch. So the problem with any hybrid glove is they stretch too much. You don't have that tight leather feel.
I can feel that. Yep.
So that was like the whole goal of like, can we make a glove with an alternative material besides leather on top that still replicates that same feel? And it took like 3 years to find, but we finally developed it, and it's really nice because it's a cooling material. When it's hot, like it sucks all the moisture out of your hand or out of the glove, and so like the leather doesn't like degrade and turn into a piece of rawhide after a round.
Yeah, I know that feeling, definitely. So hold on. So I got to catch you one thing. You said 3 years to develop. So tell us about that process. As far as that, I'm sure there are ups and downs and how you iterated with the design. So talk about that, of how you want to use the materials you're bringing over from motocross and then making this happen.
That wasn't even the material from motocross.
Okay.
That was something we tried, I don't know, hundreds of different materials.
Really?
To find something that would like actually like be tight and last and actually have some performance characteristics to it. And we finally found something close, and we're like, all right, let's take that and see if we can put some other stuff into it and develop our own part of it. And yeah, I mean, the entire glove process was a nightmare.
A nightmare.
Because no one's ever done it before.
Yeah.
Like, factories that made motocross gloves, it's different from making a golf glove, and the leathers and the palm material are so different that you have to have a whole different tooling system in order to like accomplish it. And so like I tried finding so many different factories, probably like 12, 15 different places trying to find somebody to do it.
Right.
And I finally got lucky, got a contact from somebody, and basically I can afford to do it with that company. And the owner of that company was nice enough to call me afterwards and go, hey, I like what you're doing. He's like, I'll help you out. He's like, you're going to have to do all the work, but I'll give you the connections to make it work. And it's hilarious because it turns out it was a factory I had worked with in the past for motocross.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they're like probably the number one glove company or manufacturer in the world. And I was like, what a small world. But like,
it went full circle, right? Yeah. Well, that's good stuff. So I want to ask you this, because with golf apparel, there's a lot of the big companies out there in golf that have gloves, as we know. So how do you, as a scrappy startup, how do you manage to get some market share? What are you doing to get the word out there? Are you, even with campaigns or marketing, are you doing things that are a little more irreverent, maybe kind of a different audience? So tell us about that as far as how you're positioning the product to get it in market.
I mean, so like the first content piece we really made about the gloves was actually like a motocross golf video. that I shot on a abandoned golf course during COVID. And, to me, that was kind of like putting everything full circle of like, here's where we started, and like, or here's why it started, and, here's how we got here type thing. In the fact that the gloves work for motocross just as much as they do for golf. And so that was kind of our thing, to be like, hey, here's something completely different that the golf world's never seen.
Yeah.
And we have a product here because of like this like environment or this ideology. So that's where we started with like content, and we basically just do a lot of action sports inspired kind of content with surfers and snowboarders and motocross guys, and try to showcase that like, hey, all these guys are also playing golf, and like golf kind of fits in the same spectrum of golf or of snowboarding and skateboarding and stuff. Like, doesn't make sense why it does, but it does.
Yeah.
And so just trying to bring more awareness to that, on the brand side of stuff, and then kind of showcase the products in that environment.
Gotcha. So if I remember correctly, I think Ricky Fowler is an ex motocross guy. Maybe, I don't know if you've tried to get one of these in his hands quite yet, or maybe he's got other sponsors that doesn't really let you do that. But
I have 1 degree of separation with him in
like
12 different ways.
All right.
I've never been able to actually get in contact with him, but yeah, that was like the goal when I first started. I was like, well, who else would be better to wear this than him? But
you think he would get it?
Oh yeah,
for sure. Like
100%.
So let's take it back to the show here. I'm sure you spent some time walking around. So what have you? How's it been so far, as the reception that you've had with the product? How are you going about connecting with new people, and what do you want to accomplish at the show here this week?
It's been good. We've met a lot of people this week that I kind of wanted to meet.
Yeah.
Actually, made that happen for once. So just like I'll try tomorrow, and you're like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've just been pretty much walking around and hanging out with some of my friends here who are pretty connected with people. And they've just been introducing me, and just try and get a little bit more exposure in the right circles, so we can kind of like
raise the awareness of the product. Yeah.
Generally nobody in the golf industry even knows who we are.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for 4 years now. 4
years. And so I understand, what is your distribution model right now? Can people buy online at the, I'm assuming on your website, or are you actually in retails, or do you have partners? So tell us about that. How can people?
Yeah, a little hybrid of everything.
Yeah.
Mainly online. We have some pro shops, some wholesalers. We have pretty big presence in like Japan and Korea, and we're continuing to grow that, and we're getting distribution over in Korea now. So it's mainly online, but we're starting to fill up the other areas and get some more growth.
Okay. And Euforeia is not just golf gloves. So what else do you have going on?
So the way I designed this company was to be like, all right, let's make golf gloves that anybody in golf could like love and appreciate, and whether you're a pro golfer or country club guy, whatever, like anybody can appreciate them. And then the other side of the brand is of the company is the brand, which is more apparel and lifestyle apparel.
Yeah.
That's a lot more. We're basically like a skate brand and golf clothing.
I agree.
That's probably the best way to put it.
That's what drew me to it in the first place, right? But I figured that's why I had to get you on the show here, because you are definitely outside of the golf box, and with the kind of the styling and the kind of the culture and the attitude and the tribe you're creating around that to bring them into golf. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I got in golf. I was like, I love the sport. I hate the culture. And like, I'd like to make it, if I'm going to play this forever.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to, within a month, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to play this the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do that. Like, I might as well try to do something to make it more appealing to me, and then so I feel comfortable in it, because I think that's why I was out of golf for so long, or pushed away from it. It's just I'd show up in like straight shirt and Vans and everything else, and they'd look at you and you're just like, I feel like a complete idiot.
Yeah, you're just dismissed, right? So you're not a golfer.
And so the whole thing was like, if we can do that with the glove and like use that as a vehicle to break in the industry, then we can kind of push our agenda of like growing like the alternative space of golf, and just trying to offer different stuff that your non-traditional golfer would actually want to wear.
Yeah. And how are you finding when, say, you and your friends show up to a golf course? Perhaps you haven't played at before; they don't know you, and you show up,
It's
wearing Euphoria kit head to toe. So, do you sometimes get people kind of give you the side eye there? You get
oh
some
yeah,
people give you some issues
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not as much as you would think. Like it
yeah,
surprised me. Just normally I'm like, this is gonna be something.
yeah,
And generally, if you go and talk to them for a few minutes, within a couple minutes, you're like, oh, I love what you guys are doing, and show them with love. Like I've walked in there and they're like, no, we don't want to buy anything rude. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, I'm here. Just like check out what I'm have. Like I don't care if you buy anything.
yeah,
Give
yeah,
me 5 minutes, and then within 5 minutes, you're like, oh my god, this is so cool. Blah blah. And it's cool to see golf's like changing because even like when we first started to now, like the level of like acceptance of like abnormal stuff is becoming more acceptable and even in the higher, uh, more strict areas of golf. Um, so yeah, I mean it's pretty cool.
yeah. Have you gone to a golf course yet and they've challenged you that you don't fit the dress code
Yes,
requirements, or they've actually
yes.
asked you to leave,
I,
or
I actually have like friends or ambassadors or whatever who like wear my stuff. They're like, we can't wear some of these shirts at the country club. They won't let us because it's got like a big bat print on the back of it. And
yeah, yeah.
like, that's so ridiculous.
Well, things are changing, but that's
I think it's
you
ridiculous.
probably like that too in a way.
Well,
It's kind
yeah,
of
I love it.
you like that
But I
irreverent
think
thing, right?
as somebody who's a member at a golf course who pays money to go there, you should wear whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's my thing about it. But yeah, I think it's awesome because it's hard to doing what we do. Like pissing some people off is kind of part of the equation.
yeah, yeah.
Um, as you know.
Well, you got to be. It's part of being the disruptor, right?
Well,
You
yeah,
got
and
to shake things up a little
and
bit.
that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
If it's not fun, then why do it? So.
that is a good mantra for life. If it's not fun, why do it?
Yep.
I like that one. I got to be using that one more.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
that's the cool thing about golf is in action sports everything's been done 10 times over. Like
Yeah,
everything cool or innovative or creative has been. You can't do anything more than what's been done. Like it's really hard. And in golf, it's like a blank slate where nothing's been done. It's just been here. We're going down this path for the next 60 years, and then someone's like, "Oh, hey, but you can do all this stuff." And there's so many different versions of golf that, um, outside of just your traditional 18 holes. And I think the more, kind of alternative mindsets that come into the sport and realize like, hey, there's so many different versions of what golf can be, and like it's still golf at the end of the day.
yeah,
And how many more people are going to be, get involved in it because of that? Because yeah, they might not want to go play 18 holes, but like, hit balls in an alleyway after, work or something, and have like play a little street golf with their buddies for, the cost of a $3 club at Goodwill. Like, eventually they're going to find the 18-hole course. I think that's what excited me most about golf. Is like,
yeah.
once I got into it, I realized how many different layers of it there was. It wasn't just one solar singular thing.
Yeah, that is true. And that's expanding. And I don't know if you've talked to them yet, but it's a great opportunity at the show here with the PGA of America with their Make Golf Your Thing campaign they've had running for the last little while. And, making golf more inviting, a bit more edgy, and, just more, how can you put it, just out of the traditional culture of golf. So you may want to go talk to those guys, because I think your brand aligns with the, find out if they're really walking the walk there to with their messaging there to make it more accessible.
That would be the benchmark test.
There we go. It's a could definitely be. So yeah, you have to let me know, Patrick, how that goes. Have that conversation and see if they're leaning in or if they're running away. I know some people over there. I bet you they'd lean in and have a conversation with you though, without question.
Well,
Okay, let's finish up here with this. So sounds like you're getting some traction now. You've been at it for 4 years, and I've got lots of friends that are in the soft goods apparel space in golf, and it's crowded, and there's a lot of big players, and it's hard. And it sounds like you're finding your way by knowing who you are and who you're not, and that's really great. So what do you see? What is your hope for the next 12 months for 2022? What are you looking to accomplish that you can share with us?
I mean, really just expanding our presence. I think that's the main goal for 2022 is just letting people know what we're doing and continuing to create the content we're doing and the products. Continuing to update our product line and basically take what we've started with and double down on it and really like make a push this year to kind of start becoming like the known brand for like the alternative golf space.
Got it.
I think that's They do swell.
Nice. Now you got a bag behind you. Do you have any T-shirts in there or any hoodies or anything here? So once again, our listeners won't be able to see this, but we'll. Your stuff's all kind of relaxed fit.
Yeah.
I think I'm 6'1", 185. I don't know. I'll let you decide. Probably a large. So even though our listeners, you won't be able to see these, obviously, because it's a podcast. Our viewers on YouTube can, what we're about to show you here. But I'll include some pictures in the show notes and on the episode page, so you'll be able to see there. And also we'll include the links to Euforeia Golf. So here, okay, I'm gonna pull this out of the bag here. Gotta say, first of all, liking the branding here, clean, aesthetic. Certainly into that. Dang, look at this. All right. So I got to turn this one around. So tell me about this one, Patrick.
Yeah, so these are Lux polos, and we do laser cut holes like throughout them, so like in the armpits and in the neck. This is called the Tiger Army, which is a little nod to the goat.
Yeah. Liking that. What else do you have here?
So this one is a button up. This is called the Golden Age. Yep.
Nice.
It's all like 70s kind of inspired montage collage.
Nice. Why don't you hold that up a little closer to the camera there?
Right.
There we go.
First time.
Love it.
Same thing with laser cut holes. And then
Got one more to show you here.
that's your better at than I am.
All right. Wow. So we'll start with the front here. I've seen this one on your website here, so we'll start with the front. But it's all about the back on this one here. So tell us about this one.
So this is a golf boy, which is not allowed at most country clubs apparently. And it's a little tribute to the Hugh Hefner, because apart from what Playboy is, I think he was super progressive and like just pushing so many different agendas and like changing like the face of America, really.
Yeah.
And so I kind of I was like researching one day and like totally fell in love with like what the guy did, and I was like, oh, I should make a golf shirt about it.
There you go.
That's where it came from.
Done. There it is. Apparently not allowed to be worn on all golf courses around North America. Some, but not all of them yet. Go from there. So hey, Patrick, as we finish up here, why don't you let our listeners and our viewers know where they can check out all your stuff here and where they can learn more.
Yeah, you can check us out on Instagram at EuforeiaGolf.com. It's EUFOREIA golf. It's spelled like 4.
Yeah.
And online at EuforeiaGolf.com.
There we go. And as I always do in the show notes, I will include all the links to those to make it nice and easy for you to find out what Patrick is up to with Euforeia Golf. And who knows, maybe you'll even order a golf boy shirt and see if you can wear that shirt on your local golf course, or if you're asked to cover it up or leave. So there. And if you do, we'd love to hear some feedback on that.
Yeah, we'll send you a free shirt if you do.
Oh, there we go. There's the Euphoria Challenge just thrown down by Patrick there. So why don't we leave it at that? So hey, Patrick Farris, pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah, this is great. So we'll leave it at that. Him and I are going to walk back out on the show and see some more awesome things. And we'll leave it at that. So once again, Patrick Farris, founder of Euforeia Golf. Thanks for joining me today on the Mod Golf Podcast.
Hell yeah.
Here we go.
Cheers.